It's so easy to lie to ourselves. It's so easy to pretend we are doing something when we are not. It's so easy to pretend we're not doing something when we're in fact doing something completely different. And basically, one form of art in life is to stop lying to ourselves and as well to other people. But first and foremost, it's always starting with oneself. In today's episode of the podcast, we are going to look at what exactly is going on there and what it has to do with mindfulness. And it's going to be a rather shorter episode because we are just trying to figure out what's actually the truth behind mindfulness and why do we lie so much to ourselves about it. Hello and welcome to the Exaltify Me podcast. I'm your host, Nenad Leonart, somebody who's been fascinated by the developments of inner work, by going really deep into the psyche of humans, by seeing life from every facet that there is, and actually also helping others find their true self. Now, I started on this journey I would say almost 20 years ago. When I was quite young, I had already first issues where I noticed like something is wrong. I don't think this is how life is supposed to be. A few years later, I was in therapy. Then a few years later, I was out of the depression that I had at that time and kind of completely into the self-help movement, looking into a lot of pop psychology, learning everything there is about. Like, I have a whole bookshelf filled with books that I've read through. I've put in notes. I have worked so much and learned everything that I could learn about it. And yet my life quality kind of deteriorated over the years. It had to do with the people that I surrounded myself with. It had to do with all the things that I kind of didn't do that I was supposed to do. And maybe also did do that I wasn't supposed to do. And in the end, it was about me lying to myself about what was going on, about where I was going, about what was important to me and what not. And that's also going to be the topic of today. Like, why do we lie to ourselves? And why doesn't it really help to go and learn so much about self-development, about self-help, about psychology, if you actually cannot apply it to yourself, and how it actually can be even more harmful to you to learn more things instead of just practicing them. A lot of it comes down to mindfulness. So let's talk about what actually mindfulness is. I'm sure there's many definitions. I haven't looked this one up in like Wikipedia or something. There's like my own definition from a talk that I had just recently with a friend. Like, what's mindfulness? It is being present, as present as you can get, and noticing everything in your awareness, like everything that's coming up, and really noticing as much as you can. So mindfulness is kind of very focused on the sensations, and it is very present, and it involves you. Like, it's directly involving you. What we have been talking about was about meditations. And he told me, yeah, I kind of tried to do meditations and I did it for a while, but then I kind of stopped doing those. It just kind of, went out of my habits. And I was like, yeah, that's really interesting because I also was doing meditations for a while and it kind of really went into that and focused, and then it kind of just faded out. I stopped doing them. And however, there was something else that I haven't stopped doing, and that is practicing mindfulness. Now, it depends on the time where I find myself in. Let's say it's very stressful. Let's say there's a lot to do externally. Then I actually need to put in more time during the day where I can be actually mindful. If I don't, I'm going to get lost into all that external stuff that's going on. It's kind of like a storm, right? Nowadays, there's so much information going on, so many things happening. It's very, very easy to get lost in the outside. And that is why you want to focus on the inside. That is why you want to be present with yourself. And by registering what you are feeling, what's coming into your senses, right? It's about touch. It's about tasting. It's about seeing. It's about listening. And basically, if you focus more and more on what you are feeling, that is something that is going to pull you into the present moment and is also going to connect you with yourself. You're not going to be lost in the external. You're actually going to be registering more and more what goes on inside. And to be honest, like, that's the purpose. That is the core of doing mindfulness practices, to reconnect with yourself and reconnect with the present moment and reconnect with the essence of life itself. Here's the question: why aren't we mindful then? Like, why, when we go to school, we're not taught to be mindful? Why is the whole society built in a way that is opposite of mindful, that is always wanting you to scroll more on TikTok or look at these ads or just fill your inbox with any kind of ads? That's really, really, really crazy. And reason being is, when you are connected to yourself, like when you are really feeling who you are, you also feel very clearly what is going to be good for you and what's not, and what is appealing to you and what's not. So you know very clearly then what you want and what is more like, let's say, a distraction, okay? So once that you know that, it's kind of very hard to sell something to you. Let's say I was a big corporation and I had some new kind of product and I want to push this product onto people. How exactly am I going to do that if all the people already are happy and fulfilled and know what they want and what they don't want? And my product is kind of obsolete because I cannot sell it then. If somebody wants it, they will come to me and then ask for it, but I have no possibility of scaling. I have no possibility of making more profit, earning more money, bowing down to the god of money. You see where this is going? So the whole system, everything that is funded by big corporations, they have a little bit too much of a say in it, how the system is going to work. And you can see this in America, like the US. You can see that very, very clearly. They were the first country, like during the 20th century, when they started to have mass media. They were the first country who started dumbing it down for the people. If you think about that, like, for example, BBC, the radio in the UK, I think they had the same principles of broadcast. Like when they started out broadcasting, they had the same principles that people had for centuries before. And that was not just to entertain, but also to educate, to leave people better off than they were before. So there was this huge kind of a mantra. Like if you did create something that didn't educate people, that wouldn't even get to be aired. Like nobody created that. Nobody did that. And when you look at like these really early programs from, let's say, 100 years ago, you will always see that they were striving to make people better. by providing educational value, by providing some sort of aha moment where people could understand something about them or understand something about life or about anything that's going on. And then later, again, you can see this in the US, when people started figuring out, wait, when we create dumb programs, it's going to appeal to more people because being educated, that's kind of, that needs energy. You need to invest in that. You need to really want to be educated. And they probably figured out when we just create programs where people are only entertained, it's much easier on them. So they'd rather do that than get educated. And it's more appealing. And also, turns out people get lost in entertainment. They forget their everyday struggles, they forget their everyday lives, and they just get lost into entertainment. And it becomes some sort of addiction almost. It's escapement from what's actually going on. And so we have this huge entertainment industry that's getting larger and larger. And obviously social media gets also onto that, where, again, social media was kind of created so people can keep in touch, right? So that you can travel around the world and maybe you meet someone here and there, or you just move to a different country and you can still stay in contact with your family and your friends and your loved ones. What's it become now? It's a platform for all people to market themselves, to put out there what they're doing. Nobody really cares for this connection. It's just about, on the side of the creators, it's about the marketing, it's about earning money, and of the side of the consumers, it's about scrolling forever and getting entertained to death. Like, most people, when they start scrolling, they don't stop after 2 or 3 minutes. It's like half an hour or an hour or 2 hours, which this is just time lost. It's just gone. And they're completely being in the external, and it's just distraction. It's distracting themselves from their everyday life. Why? Because their everyday life is fucking unbearable. Because it's just too boring. It's not what I signed up for. I hate my job, I hate my colleagues, I hate my relationship or the lack of my relationship. There's just so much hate or disapproval going around, and they just want to have some sort of escapement. And instead of actually educating people to go into mindfulness, to go into, hey, listen, you know what? If you maybe reconnect with yourself, the consequence of that, doing it on a regular basis, is going to be that your relationship is going to get better. Like, not just your relationship to self, but your relationship to all other people in general. But they don't do that. Because if they did that, again, you couldn't sell them anything. Big corporations have figured out the dumber we are, the more disconnected we are from ourselves, the more susceptible we are to feel this inner hole that needs to be fed. It's just like, I feel empty inside, so I need to buy stuff, which is going to give me this little dopamine kick. And then I'm going to be like, oh yeah, finally, I got this one thing that I want, that I kind of deserve. And then it's great for a few days, but then the feeling fades. And then we're left with this hole again, and then we need something new to go and fill up that hole. I noticed this with myself, like, I'm aware of this process, and I still do that up to today. Like, for example, I have this bag fetish, I need to buy a lot of bags. I just love, because bags, for example, for me, they symbolize freedom. So if I have like a bag, that means I can just pack up my stuff, and then I can go travel and see new things and just be on the road. Now, I already have enough bags. And yet, every few months, or I guess at least once a year, there's this one bag that's new or that's flashy or something that's especially practical, with all these extra side pockets and everything that's going on. And it just catches my attention. I'm like, that would be a great bag to have. It's probably also coupled with the frustration. I don't know if you are also frustrated with your bags, like when you want to bring something and then it's too complicated or you cannot pack it or it just doesn't have the right pockets for you, right? So I have these antennas where I'm always looking like for the best bag there is. And I already have like a wonderful bag, not just one, but like maybe 3 or 4 that I do use on a regular basis and that are really, really good. Like they are 95% of the bag that I want. And I still am looking for that one perfect bag, which is crazy. It's like a part of me, and I know that this is going on, and yet a part of me says, well, once that I find the perfect bag, I will be complete. Once that I see this one perfect kind of thing, all my problems will be solved. And like right now, there is a bag where I feel like, yeah, if I get this one, all my problems will be solved. And I know that is irrational. That's also why I didn't buy the bag. But I know that this is going on and I still have this feeling. Now let's transport this onto personal relationships, because that's something that I see a lot happen, especially with the younger generations, but not just. What about we were not talking about a bag? What if we were talking about a person? So let's say you're dating, you meet this one person, and then you kind of get together. So what is happening there? On one side, it's like I don't want to be alone. That's the weight. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to die alone. I want to have companionship. This other side is like how perfect is my partner? How awesome are they? And how imperfect are they? So what do we have to settle with, right? And so for so many people, they are really looking for this ideal, which is going to be the perfect bag. It's going to be the perfect partner. And then they just kind of happen to stumble across this rather imperfect person. And then they kind of settle and they say, well, it's kind of as good as it's going to get right now. But maybe one day, I meet like the one, right? So for now, that's going to be good. And a couple years later, maybe like this one person just walks along magically into my life and simply fulfills it. And so they are in a relationship, but they're also not like 100% committed, because why would I commit 100% to somebody who is just not as perfect, right? And also there's like this idea, again, that the perfect person will come along one day. So there's also the fantasizing going on and projecting this perfection into other people. And that's why so many are unhappy with their relationships. They get into stupid arguments. Everything gets kind of toxic. And they're fantasizing about other people that don't even exist, And that's a pattern that is repeating itself over and over and over again. And this is one of the ways how we lie to ourselves. This is one of the ways how it is so easy to distract ourselves from what's actually going on inside, like the huge gaping hole of neediness. I need something. It could be needing a new bag. It could be needing a new person, a new relationship, a new whatever it is. Once I get that, my life will be complete. And it never is. That's the illusion. Like once we get something, there's this small spike of dopamine, but that's it. It's not going to get any better. It's not going to get any worse, but like that's it. And we don't understand that, like, we pretend to not be wired that way. We pretend that what we think and what we feel around this is real. And the more we are in the external, the more we are disconnected and distracted from us, the more real it seems. Because that's just an illusion that's being created and supported by all the major players out there. They know they will profit if we are distracted. So what then? And that's where mindfulness comes in. Like, when you are able to be as mindful as possible during your day, just put in like little chunks in of mindfulness practice, you will start to reconnect with yourself. You will start to see life with different eyes. Pay more attention to what's actually going on inside of you and understand that there is nothing external that will ever be able to change that. And pay attention to, oh, I'm actually feeling really shitty inside. Because I feel like if I get to do this thing, or I get this accomplishment, or I buy this bag, or whatever it is, like if I would do that, I would feel better, but not really, because I know what's going on, but it's also like feeling, where does this come from? It's by really accepting that there's a part in you that's screaming. It's screaming for attention and it's screaming for love. And just to hear its voice and say, hey, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. Tell me what's going on. Let's be here together. And when you're able to do that, you can kind of open very many new windows into discovering your true self, like who you actually are. And you're starting to reintegrate parts of yourself that you've lost over the years, over being focused in the external, over being overly committed to certain goals, to certain ambitions, and that you've kind of probably sacrificed parts of yourself that now brought you to where you are. Mindfulness is kind of contributing to your relationship with self. And think about it, like, we come from animals, and animals are always present. They are not having very complicated thoughts of how can I actually construct these amazing pyramids, or how do I say this one thing to a colleague of mine so that I can fix our relationship, or, it's really not as complicated, it's just existing. And that is what mindfulness is. It's helping you get in touch with the essence of life. And whatever you do, unless it's scrolling on TikTok, but everything else that you do, you can do more mindful. You can, when you're walking out in nature, try to really pay attention. How your body feels, like what's going on, what you can hear, what you can see, all the details that you maybe haven't paid attention to before. Pay attention to how the air feels on your skin, or when you take a breath. Is it cold? Is it warm? When you're eating, like, what's the taste really like? What's the consistency of the food? All these kind of details that in everyday life we stop paying attention to because we are focused on something external, so we just need to get the food down so we can do the next thing. Try to step on the brakes and just really, really look at, how does it taste? We actually did like a meditation last year when we did a program at the University of Zurich. We did a meditation with like a small piece of fruit where we took like 5 minutes to actually eat it. So that was like a mindfulness exercise. Because usually it would take you like 5 seconds, and we prolong that super long. So we're just first looking at it, touching it, smelling it, and then taking it between the lips, see how it feels, then slowly taking it into the mouth, looking how it tastes, how it feels like, and so on. So there was so much attention brought into this small piece of fruit. And I really love that exercise because it completely opened a new stage of mindfulness to me, because I first thought, okay, mindfulness is just like doing the same thing and just paying attention to it differently. But you can actually slow down. You can slow down in everything that you do and do it more mindfully. So it actually even makes more sense. It's just a wonderful thing. It's just simply a wonderful thing. So why don't you try out? Why don't you try that out and see how it works for you? That would be a cool thing to have, right? A new tool in your life that's not even like a tool, but it's part of your life and reconnecting you to who you actually are and reconnecting you to what feels like the purpose of life. Hey, I really hope that you got out something from today's episode that you can go and apply right away in your life. Because it's these small steps that are going to make us feel better, that are going to make us find meaning, that are going to make us just be more connected and have more joy and just be more happy. Do let me know if you have any feedback, any questions, anything. Just drop it down in the comments. I'm really happy to hear from you. And I'm looking forward to the next episode of Exaltify Me. I'm your host, Leonart. Take care, have a great week, and see you in the next episode.